G'day everyone. Proud to say Barkarati is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners, welcome to Barkarati the Sailing Podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP.
Hello world, how's everyone going?
Hello world.
You sound a bit like John Laws. Hello world.
Yes.
Valvoline, you know what I mean?
Who's that bloke? Who is that bloke?
Well, I'll introduce you.
No,
Go.
the reason I say hello world is because we're all over the place. And and I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's like trying to launch
physically.
It's trying to launch the NASA bloody space shuttle. We're trying to get us all together every time.
It is hard.
Anyway, we've managed to do it.
Yeah.
Only for a little while.
Yeah. Well, let's bring in the other bloke, make sure he's there.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Boyce.
Hey, man.
Hey, we know, man. We know, man. You're cool, man.
Currently in Antigua, man.
Konnichiwa.
Could I get done with some sort of racism for doing that sort of stuff?
Because you're cool, man.
That's right, man.
Hey, man. Have you got your Walkman, man?
Now
Jordan,
we're getting into that too.
You're in Japan.
Correct.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
BP, you're in back home in Sydney. G'day.
G'day, mate.
Boring old Sydney. G'day.
I'm in the place where there's no such word as tomorrow because nothing is that desperate. In the Caribbean, man.
Good one, man.
Oh.
So a little story, believe it or not, at this time of the podcast. It's a dead set pain in the sack to get to this joint from Australia.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And went through
So she's not
travel
a
agent,
ball loosener.
And it's a definite ball loosener. The travel agent, in the end, I tried looking for the right way to get here, and I ended up getting a flight. I was in LA for 14 hours. So I arrived into LAX, Adelaide, Sydney, LAX, Charlotte, Antigua. I arrive into LAX. Go to collect my bag. No bag.
No bag.
Give the number for my bag. Where's my bag? Still in Adelaide.
Wow.
I'm like, so when that conveyor belt behind the check-in people wasn't working, that might have had something to do with it.
They're breaking down a lot at the moment, aren't they?
Anyway,
yeah, go on.
What happens, I do 14 hours in bloody LAX. It was actually good to get a bit of admin done. And then Charlotte, get to Antigua, straight to the luggage desk. There was a bit of a line up there. And I turned around. There's my bag.
Right.
I just felt like ringing the travel agent saying, I fucking told you there was a way quicker way to get here.
Yes.
So my bag leaves 20 hours after me and it still beats me here.
Yeah, I love it.
So you're saying you should have gotten into a suitcase and gone in.
Would have, should have, got it. Exactly.
Yeah.
I could have held on to my wee-wees for that long. Who knows?
Yeah.
Gotta bet you smell.
Did
you?
So in the Caribbean, boys, Nelson Cup coming up. Sailing with just a whole bunch of GCs on the. I don't often use that term, but just some good guys.
People. Yep.
Some really good guys, on the Galatea.
G'day,
and
Galatea.
then rolling into the 600, the Caribbean 600. And this is a first-time shout-out to the final. The ex-Warrior One under new ownership, joining that team for the Caribbean 600, which is going to be an absolute blast. I am part of their WhatsApp social group. And by the time I join that team, I've got to say, I think I'll really fit in.
Fit in. Yeah.
No, it's going to be an absolute ripper.
Well,
Great bunch.
all's well that ends well then, Vice. Hey, started off with a bit of a lump, but she's come good in the end.
I do have to say
Yeah,
that, like, it must be interesting, like jumping on a boat, like say you jump on final. Everyone's going to know you because they've listened to you on Barkarati. You know, like you don't come in anonymous anymore. You're not like an unknown person. Have you?
Well,
have you
in
noticed-
fairness, I have been given the role of making
Communications.
sure that the owner's happy. So I'm actually thinking we might go live mid Caribbean 600.
yeah,
Oh,
love it.
Do an interview.
for it.
We've always wanted to, interview these guys at that particular ownership level, and I think it could be a really, really good one.
100%. Let's do it. Yeah. Cool. Speaking,
let's roll.
With the modern marvels of Starlink and all those sorts of things, fuck, why not?
let's do
Let's
it.
go.
Yeah, cool. Lock it in. Speaking of good interviews, our guest today, boys, shall we roll into that?
Well, I wanted to bring up some Trump stuff because I've been taking the piss out of you blokes all week. And I can feel the tension,
Oh dear.
but maybe we won't.
Yeah.
We'll leave that for another. We'll leave that for Barkarati, the political podcast,
Trump edition.
We should. Oh god.
making sailing great again. But one thing we did work out is when Trump signed the executive order to bring plastic straws back,
Oh,
and I had a little bit of a joke at all our expenses, making straws great again.
right. Yeah.
And we did concur between ourselves that MSGA doesn't work,
No.
making straws great again. But I do believe we did have a bit of a thing going at one point, making sailing great again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That probably won't work either.
No. Correct.
No.
That's exactly right. Yes. Anyway.
Anyway,
Right.
sorry for a little take.
Move on.
there.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. I'll keep my mouth shut. There's plenty I want to say, but I'm not saying a word. Our guest, though, he's good for a chat. He's a great man. We're going to talk about the Mini Globe race, which is about to kick off. Kicks off on the 23rd of Feb, 11:30, right where you are, boys, Falmouth Harbour. It's going to be an interesting one. We had our guest on the show, episode 44, nearly 4 years ago, and he told us about that, and he's created the little Mini 580s that are out there, the home-built...
Mini minis.
Mini-minis, that's what we
Yeah,
call
mini-minis.
them. That's right. The plywood home-built boats that are going to race around the world. And it's, as we said, it's about to kick off. They've done the transatlantic element, where the qualifying components to get to this, and there's a whole bunch of little boats about to do it, and it's a really, really interesting discussion. And it, you know what? It's a whole new part of. It's a part of sailing that we absolutely respect. These adventurers, these people that are going to race, but also live a dream and an adventure, and we're up for it and we're into it. And so is the man behind it. And we want to welcome him to the show, Mr. Don McIntyre. Don McIntyre, welcome back to Bar Karate, mate. It's great to have you.
Oh, mate, I'm back. I think it was 4 years ago the last time.
Well, it was definitely during COVID, Don. I think you were shut
I was
up
in Adelaide then.
Glenelg, exactly. And we had a chat then, and you gave us this dream idea of these little bastard boats sailing around the world.
You mean my mighty minis? They're really pretty cool.
The mini minis, I think we called them.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, it was.
And fuck, here we are, mate. We're in Antigua. Literally, you and I are probably a stone's throw from each other, and about to hook straight into it. Like it's real. It's happening. It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like I'm on a high with this. You know, as you know, I got the Golden Globe and the Ocean Globe, but this is ants pants to me. I just love it more than anything you can imagine, and it's just as much fun looking back as looking forward. You know, it's been an amazing ride over the last 4 or 5 years with this, and even I pinch myself and think, shit, it's happening. You know, it's cool. Yeah.
Why is it the ants pants for you? What is it that gets you so excited about it, Don?
It's hard to describe, and that's only ramped up with me over the last maybe 3 months, when we actually see the boats all assembling. You know, we got a fleet. We had a fleet of 12 boats for the transatlantic, and now we've got a fleet of 15 for the round the world. And the people and like the sailors, having built their boats and having crossed oceans and all this sort of stuff, it's just amplified everything. And the vibe is, it's simply too hard to describe. But the camaraderie and the warmth and the excitement, and everyone's on a high, and it's really intense. I mean, the first Golden Globe was pretty cool, and the first, we did the Ocean Globe, but the feeling this time, I really can't nail it down, but I think it's because no one's out to be a hero. They're all pretty, there's some pretty interesting characters, really, but they're all realistic. They realize there's risk, they realize there's challenge. It's not easy, but it's a truckload of fun. We're all just having fun. It's a bit like that. And so for me, supporting adventure and things like that, this is the epitome, because people look at it and they say, you've got to be kidding me. 16 or 13 months around the world in a shoebox, plywood shoebox. Are you real? So, and I love that vibe where people just are stunned, and then you say, "Yep, that's it. You got it."
You've definitely.
I think one of the things we've definitely picked up on, Golden Globe, Ocean Globe, Mini Globe, is the fact it's a big step away from the professional basis and taking nothing away from our comrades, but this is an actual adventure. People want to do it for the adventure, and people can relate to the adventure, or say, holy shit, what are those guys and girls doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we often talk about the other side, the professionals and this, that, and the other, and mainly just because we're trying to show people sometimes how different it is, and because we love everything. We love the America's Cup, we love the Vendée, we love the bloody, you name it, Sail GP. It's all a place for everyone, but this is obscure, and we know it. It's kind of fun, and that fun factor, is right alongside the serious factor. It's a serious adventure, and as expected, there's a couple of people in the group that are serious sailors, and we've got everything from command, like Kerry Harris, he used to command an aircraft carrier. He's from Navy, British Navy. We've got all sorts of characters there. It's quite amazing. So there's a story yet to be told, and it's about to happen.
I'm just thinking of if he tries to call a helicopter in or something onto the boat by accident, wakes up in a dream, lack of sleep, and he calls a plane down to land.
Yeah, look, it was really funny because when he was doing the qualifier into Lanzarote, he had a bit of a trouble on the wall, and I thought he was going to lose the boat on the breakwater there for a while. It would have been supremely embarrassing because it was running live on Facebook. But he's a great guy. Yeah. He's an amazing. Kerry is great, and we got a Swiss guy who's leading the fleet, you might say, at the moment. And he's pretty laid back. This is serious. He's cooking cakes. He's a gourmet cook, and so he's just cooking curries and everything, all live, real ingredients and stuff. He's sailing across the Atlantic racing, and he's leading the pack. It's nuts.
Relax.
Yeah.
It's the secret, isn't it? You got to be relaxed.
Cakes. Yep.
I actually saw. Go on, boss.
Do you think, actually, sorry, Jordan, that it's an element of, I mean, this is probably a different take on it, but everyone I speak to is, they always say it's not like it used to be. It's not like it used to be. But what you've done with the Globe races is actually what it used to be like about the people getting out there, about the storylines, and the fact we can actually tell the stories now with the way the media works is super cool, and people can relate to it better.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. There's there's a serious human element to this, because that's where it starts. It starts with the sailor, and then everything comes from the sailor, rather than starting with the technology and the speed that works its way down to the sailor. It's a complete reverse. And also the people themselves, they're all there for different reasons, but the one reason I know they're all there for is to prove something to themselves. No one else. It gets to be a bit of a social media war sometimes. Everyone trying to push this, that, and the other. Our guys, some of them couldn't care less. We're trying to get stuff out of them to just tell people what's going on with the race, but they're all there for their own personal reasons. And then, things happen. and when you're in a mini as well, there's always something happening, and people are watching. We're reading solid traction coming now. The numbers are picking up, the people that are following it, and I think there's an element there of people get it. Once upon a time, I would have said, even when we came to the reality of announcing the mini globe race, I thought, geez, people are going to think we're nuts, but I didn't really care. I mean, maybe I am nuts, but now people are starting to get it. They're not, you'll get one in the can every now and then and say, you're idiots. You shouldn't be doing that. You're all going to die. But most are realizing that they are special little boats, special people. We, work really hard on risk mitigation and it is actually sensible, and we're not the first to do it. There's plenty of other adventurous sailors that have gone around the world in little boats and this, that, and the other, but a lot of people don't know that. So
Exactly.
it's really is inspiring people, and that's part of what we do it for. And the good news is we're having a lot of fun in the meantime.
There's probably another element that needs to be mentioned in that the planning and the routing of the race is going into zones that aren't the sort of the high risk. Your timing is around, you've worked out around typhoons and all that, and you're not going into the Southern Ocean except when they go around the bottom of Cape Horn, but Cape Town, sorry. So there's only that sort of Agulhas current time. That's the main one, but most of it should be in pretty good conditions. You're not putting them to the extreme areas, I guess.
No, yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, we took a long time to work out the course. As simple as it is, you still got to work the timelines and estimate the speed of the boats and all this sort of stuff. And the other thing is, it's a natural progression of qualification. So, in other words, you start off in Portugal and you've got to sail 600 miles to Lagos, Marina Rubicon and stuff. Start in Lagos, then we go out to Lanzarote, Marina Rubicon. That's 600 miles. If they get that right, we let them in the Transat. Then they got 3,000 miles from Rubicon Marina across here to the National Sailing Academy. And if they've done that, then they're pretty much ready to go around the world. And by the time they're sailing over the top of us, they go across the Pacific, which is all very realistic. By the time they're over the top of Australia, heading to Cocos, the ones that are there, and I don't know how many people will get that far, but the ones that are there will be very competent, very qualified. They know their boats, and they will have been observing the weather. And yes, the biggest challenges after Mauritius, Port Louis there, we've got to get to Cape Town, and that's where you're stepping into the Southern Ocean. And we allow, in the race plan, there's a 10-day budget of stopovers there that they can stop anywhere they like, which basically gives them the opportunity to work or stop for 2 or 3 pressure systems coming through so they can manage the weather. And that's going to be the biggest challenge, but they'll all be good people, good boats by then. So let's see.
What about the whole aspect around these boats? Obviously, they're home built, they're plywood built boats. Most of these guys have built the boats themselves, like there was that element of they had to prove themselves that they could. So you've got that sort of element of certainty that the boats are up to the job. Are you seeing much diversity in the build at all with the 580s?
Yes and no. It's a one design class, so we monitor everything, and they've got to tick a lot of boxes to get class approval. And they have to do a building blog, so you can follow the build of every boat that's being built, and we follow that as well. And then they got to have certified keels, and everything is specified to be similar. We got quantum sails. Everyone's got to buy the same sails, and things like the only things we allow them to modify, is the companionway arrangement going down into the boat. They've got options of no observation dome. You can have an astrodome, like a bubble, or you can have an observing pod. We call it the OBS pod. It's just a little upgrade on the top of the deck to look 360 degrees, or you can just have flat there, have nothing there. And then anything to do with sail control is optional. So some of the dinghy guys don't have any winches, and they just pulling strings all over the place. Others have got winches and sheet tracks, or they can use 360 degree sheeting, friction rings, all that sort of stuff. And so everyone's got a different take on that. And that's the biggest area of difference. Right. And, it's proving interesting because some are really hot on performance. There's a couple of really serious performance sailors there that want to win the race. Others are performance cruising people, or, just want to have fun and sail as best they can. And that's really about it. It is a one design class, but not to Olympic standard, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Hey, Don, given our internet's a little bit slow, you can't see Jordan, but you've seen him on screen before, but he's got a massive scone. So his ob pipe would be almost the boot. He'd have to put a hard hat on top of the ob pipe so the boom wouldn't hit it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll agree with you, Nick. We're still talking. You can kill it, Look, it's really fun though. They're really, I think. Well, there's a lot of stuff online, and on social networks and things like that where people can see the boats, but even the pictures don't do them justice. And we've had people that have heard about it and they thought, oh yeah, that's cool, blah blah blah. But when they actually physically see the boats, they're stunned because they are really serious little ocean races. They're not just the plywood shoebox, or ship box, as some people say. But they're cool, they're having a lot of fun.
And for what it's worth, Don, a few of the crew from the Galatea, which I'm sailing on here, came and saw some of the boats the other day, just walking around, and came down to the marina, had a bit of a look, and came back stunned, absolutely stunned, with a couple of questions. What on earth are these guys doing, guys and girls? And how cool is this? What we're seeing, what's these guys and girls are doing? It's bloody cool.
By the way, the 600 start. We start on Saturday we start on Sunday at 11:30 in Falmouth Harbour. We're starting the race in the harbour, so you can watch it from the beach. But we're going to come and rattle your cage over there. All the gurus will be over there with their flashy boats. When we leave the marina here, we're going to do a snail trail in line, single file. Every boat has to have a foghorn, and we're going to loop all the boats in the marina. So at 10:15 in the morning, stand by. All the foghorns are going. I say, what the bloody? What's all these bloody shit boxes out here? Where are they going? So we're really having a giggle with that. But I got to say, whenever a boat arrived, coming back in the Transat rather, it came all ours. Yeah, people, the guys, the crews on all the white boats and stuff like that, we're giving them a bit of a hoo-ha. So I think they get it. It's a bit of fun.
No, absolutely. No, and it just goes with a massive amount of respect as well, which I think is one of the coolest parts about it. But
I think you're right.
I've got
sorry.
No, sorry. Just stepping back a little bit. So obviously you did the first little jaunt, 600 miles, then 3,000 miles. Going back to all your routing, your original routing, how's your estimations gone, do you think?
Oh, they blew me out of the water here. We weren't even here for the first boats arriving. Because they had literally pretty good weather all the way across. So when I say good weather, consistent, solid trades. And they were, pushing it,
that right now.
Sort of 35 knots, 4, 5, 6 meter seas. They were surfing at 16 knots and stuff, having a good time, but it was all in the right direction. So it was 22 days and 5 hours for 3,000 miles. So they averaged about, this is the lead boat, 135 miles a day. And that worked out about 5.35 knots or something.
I reckon on the maths, I would say 5.62, just doing the maths quickly in my head.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, something like that. And so
it is a late year. So
yeah. But what we do when they leave here, we passage plan the whole thing at about 100 miles, or actually at 100 miles a day, except for Panama to Polynesia, French Polynesia, because that could take them a long time. It's renowned for potentially at times having big holes, so they got to be ready for 50 to 60 days in the boat, But around the world, 100 mile a day averages. I think that'll be more than achievable. And we're also chasing this guy by the name of John Guswell in the original Tracker. He went around 75 years ago, and his speeds were in a little 22-foot, sort of strip plank boat. He rocketed around, so some of them might be struggling to keep up with his times, and he did that without wind vanes. It's a beautiful little boat, great story, and we're really celebrating his journey back then. So little boats can clear out pretty quick sometimes,
Yeah.
Speaking of Trekker, Don, you built a mini globe boat yourself, 580. Called Trekker. You did a couple of years ago. You did let's call it the prologue Leg.
Yeah,
Tell us about actually sailing the boats.
it's quite interesting. That was in November 21. That was the very first Globe 580 Transat. I've got hull number 1. We're now up to 265 or something on the plan sets. But anyway, there was 5 of us took off and we had an absolute ball. But the biggest thing, I'd only sailed it for 2 hours before I left. And that was with the sail designer from Quantum Sails, just to make sure the sails worked. And then all the others bought their sails. That was about 4 months before. So then they put the boat in the water and I take off from Lagos. It took me 2 days before I could work out how to sail it. The number of times I'd round up and be facing 180 degrees off the course, it was unbelievable. But within 2 days, you get it. And then you settle in and it's like wow factor. Not wow factor like a class 650, where you're surfing on top of the water. But it's a cool boat, very safe, very easy to sail. You've only got strings to pull. You can only do so much. You do a lot of tweaking sort of thing as the weather changes. But I ran under bare poles for 18 hours one day, night, in 35, 40 knots, and she was just going like a glamour, just under wind vane. Because it's not a planing boat as such, it's sort of like not even semi-displacement, but it's designed to carry a lot of weight. So the boat sits in the water, but it'll get up and go. And once you get it, it's fantastic. And that story has been repeated with every skipper. They all get it when they start sailing. It's like, what the hell? What's going on here? Because it's like if you scale it up, it's like having a 40-footer that's got about 18-foot beam, And so that's what happens with little boats that shape. But she's a great boat. Everyone, we just had the debrief now today with the 12 transatlantic sailors that just arrived. And everyone's really happy. They're really settled. They're really excited. They love their boats. And it says a lot for them. So it's quite surprising,
It's pretty cool. Like if you've called your boat Trekker, wasn't John Guswell's boat? His was called Trekker, wasn't it?
Yeah. His was Trekker. We got Trekker too.
Yeah, gotcha.
So,
all right.
And that was because that was part of the inspiration to set all this up. I always liked little boats. I'd watched the first solo transatlantics. There's a boat called Willing Griffin, a 19-foot Hunter 19, and then there was the first mini transats. That Jean-Luc and he was in, sailing away plywood boxes. And I met other guys in my time in the Pacific in little boats that were sailing around the world. And I just loved them, but I always had 2 bigger boats. And I always dreamt about a little boat across the Atlantic, never did it. And then I thought I can do it. Had a year that I figured I could get it done. And then I thought, okay, we'll build a class and some people might want to join us. And then before I announced the transatlantic, I thought, why don't we go around the world? And I thought, bugger me. I talk to myself often, why not? So that's how it all came together. And now it's, we've there's something like over 90 boats actively building. And now when we started, I knew it would work like this, that for every 3 plans you sold, set of plans, one would, 30%, one of them wouldn't build. Another guy might build sometime in the next 4 or 5 years when it's the right time, and the others would start building. And that's exactly what happened. We had 80 builders and to start with pretty quickly. And now, though, when we sell plans, pretty much because they can see what's going on the website, the class association, the videos, the photos, there's a truckload of stuff on YouTube. When someone's buying a set of plans now, they go straight into building. So we've passed critical mass and everyone's getting very excited about what's going on. So by the time this mini globe race finishes, it's going to be very interesting. I don't want to predict anything, but it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Because it's one thing for a sailor to have the dream to circumnavigate. It's another thing to do it in a race with a bunch of other silly people. It's really good fun. And to build your boat as well, it's a pretty cool situation. It sort of puts everything together like the cherry on the cake. So it's cool.
With when I was a young fella, I remember I was mowing the lawn at about 13 years of age, and I would have called, if I had to build one of these, Don, I'd probably call it Dove, because the Robin Lee Graham story is the one that as a little kid inspired me. And I remember saying to my dad after finishing mowing the lawn, Dad, I reckon I could be the youngest person to sail around the world. Can we can we organise a boat? And he says, don't be a fucking idiot. And that was the last that conversation went. But that whole element of the adventure, that book of Robbins was just, I must have read it 100 times as a kid. I just loved it. And I can see... Go on.
Yeah, it's exactly right. I can still remember walking into the picture theatre because I watched that, Dove in the picture theatre. It was in Hindley Street, and I can still remember that. And then got the book, and I used to read the book every few years for quite a few years. And so same thing. Little boats are cool. They're quite, the boats can put up with more than the skippers sometimes because the stories coming out of, getting knocked down and getting thrown around and bruises and bits and pieces are quite fun. Little boats are cool.
Little boats are cool.
Hey.
Go on.
Don, just speaking of skippers, you kind of touched on it earlier, but you've got 15 great individuals about to take off from Antigua here. Got any cool stories or like about the different individuals?
Yeah, well, now I've got to try and think of them. So many cool stories. It's a bit funny, you sort of to try and repeat them, but. Popeye's a bit of a crazy guy. He's an Adelaide guy, He's sailing 99. Him and his son, father and son there, It was cheaper and easier to build two little boats and have one big boat. Anyway, he's just inspired by Popeye. So just before the start, he's 70. He turned 70 a few days ago at sea. And he got Popeye tattoos and this, that, and the other. But he's got a Barbie on board. He's an Aussie. So he doesn't have a stove that's mobile at sea. So he brings out the Barbie. Right, and flashes up the Barbie.
Look at how good. And an esky?
Sorry?
And an esky?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Anyway, and so they're carrying a bit of weight, right? And when they were on the marina in Lagos, the amount of stuff they took off the boat, and I thought that was it. They turn up here, and he's just moving things around on the boat. He pulls out an electric scooter. He's got an electric scooter on the boat. But the roads are a bit tough here, so he can't do it. And now he's complaining because his calf muscles are a bit funny and so on. So, but anyway, we had some real stories. One guy, poor guy, he sort of slipped, fell in the cockpit and broke a couple of ribs, close down the back of it, off his back. He flattened on the back and landed on a cleat and he broke a couple of ribs. And then a day later, he twisted and displaced them. So that was a bit of a drama. And just all the usual stories, getting thrown out of their bunk because he didn't have a lee cloth. One guy, Jacob, a Polish-Irish guy, a lot of fun. He said, you don't need lee cloths until he forgot that he was going to sea. And he got chucked out of his bunk so often it wasn't funny. And Renaud's the guy cooking and stuff. He's a very good sailor. He sails everything, foilers and all sorts in the lake in Switzerland and all that sort of stuff. And he decided he always wanted to sail around the world, and so he built the boat. He's a quiet guy, doesn't say much. And I'd known him for some time, and I thought, I think he's going to be pretty hot. And cheapers, he's out of there. He's super competitive, but he hardly ever steers. But he's another one of those straight line sailors. Like he knows that you got to keep sailing straight, and keep adjusting your sails. Where a lot of our guys, and even in the Golden Globe and so on, they'll sail all over the ocean. But if you straighten that course line out, it's a lot closer. So he's having a real go and sailing particularly well. But it's all under wind vane. He said he reckons his hand steered less than 5%. So he's very relaxed. They're all talking about or not all of them, but probably 2/3 of them are talking about getting too much sleep. Because you can only pull strings so often. And they get hit by squalls and get knocked down and all this sort of stuff. It's still pretty tough at times, but they're cool.
That father-son team is Mike Blenkinsop and John Blenkinsop is who I think you're talking about. And I actually, I was out paddling my ski one day off Mooloolaba and I saw them coming out. I saw the two boats coming out. I didn't know who it was. And then I realised, I think John, he's an ex-super yacht skipper or something, and he does a bit of detailing work around town. And I paddled alongside and said g'day. And these guys obviously think I wasn't a sailor, and I started just talking about the mini globe race and good luck, and I knew all the details, and I think it was Mike I was talking. He just looking at me like, how do you know about this? And I think he was like quite chuffed that some random ski paddler knew all about the race, and but they've painted their boats identically as well, which is so it makes them easy to spot. They've both got the same sort of black and white with a red jagged lightning stripe thing down the middle. That I was going to say that before, Don. The one design element hasn't extended to the paint jobs because, man, there's some diversity in the paint jobs.
No, there's some pretty crazy ones there, but that's part of the course. We have a requirement for high vis on all sorts of stuff, just for the safety angle. But they're father and son. They're absolute classic stories. John built both the boats basically, and his old man sort of turns up, and there's all sorts of banter going on about sabotaging things. But anyway, I'll tell you another funny one. This a couple of true stories, right? One of our women, Pilar from Spain. She's really cool. Okay, what is she? She's I forget now. I think she's about 57. She looks about 45, maybe not even that. She's fit and healthy. She's a ship's captain, so she drives around in big ships and all that sort of stuff. And she's done 2, Class 650s, Mini 650 transats, across here. So this was her 3rd sailing trip, right? And she had to do the qualifier from Lagos to Lanzarote. And she did really well, right? She was right up there. And I thought, wow, she's hot. She's going to be cool. When she arrives, she hand steered all the way.
Oh,
she
wow.
had no idea how to use her wind vane.
Oh,
right?
wow.
She had nothing else. And yet she sailed as a hot sailor, right? And I was stunned. So we had to sort of teach her how to use a wind vane, okay, which was a bit of a nightmare. And even Jasmine, who's an English girl, she's rowed across the Atlantic. She got a world record or something for that because she was the youngest to row across at 21 or something. And then she's got she swam the full length of England, right? So she's an ocean swimmer, but she's not a strong sailor. But she's done the miles before to qualify in other yachts. But she had no idea when she was leaving. And literally, when she left, they fitted a hydrovane wind vane, and I had to preset the wind vane up, and get it ready to turn on because she couldn't work it out. She could not work out how it was meant to go. And so when she left, it was, I said to her, turn it on now. Turn it on now.
Wow.
And she had a few struggles, but she's now right on the program and doing really well. So there's lots of wind vanes are a big subject, I've got to say. And most of them, when they start, they haven't sailed under wind vane. So, and that's critical because the boat is designed to be sailed by a wind vane, not electric autopilots and things like that.
Yeah, it's really evident that the entrants are adventurers. They're people that have got this spirit. They're clearly people that just get off on doing the all these strange adventures. When we spoke to Dan Turner on the show. He's done a million adventures, episode 268 from memory, but he's done a million different adventures, and it's the same right across the field. Everyone you've mentioned is an adventurer by the sounds of it.
Because there's this one guy, Dan Turner from Canada, right? I knew he was building a boat, and I knew he was going to think about shipping it across to Portugal for the start. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I get this message one day. He's halfway across the North Atlantic, sailing from Nova Scotia
the boat
to Portugal. And I just about spat out my breakfast. I'll never forget it because I thought, shit, you're kidding me. Because there was some big storms out there. And he didn't say anything to anyone. He just took off. And I'm thinking, shit, I never designed the boat conceived the boat to be in the middle of the North Atlantic, all that sort of stuff. But he turned up fine and he had a great time and he had to lay a hull a lot and big storms and things like that. But yeah, they're absolutely adventurous. It's pretty cool. So he's had the most experience. He's done the North Atlantic and now the milk run across the trades here. So he's fired.
Yeah, that's good. It's cool. What about from a spectator? You mentioned at the start there, Don, that obviously we're starting basically in front of Pigeon Beach there in Falmouth Harbour on Sunday the 23rd. Then, as you also mentioned, there's all these pit stops throughout. But so you're still trying to go for mass starts. Like it's an adventure around the world. If you're trying to get the fleet back together at each pit stop and they'll start again, is that how it's going to work?
Yeah, but there's set legs and then there's pit stop. So the brief explanation is this: yes, we're in the harbour. I don't think they've ever started an ocean race in the harbour before. But I said to them when we were making the application, I said, "Look, we're just a bunch of dinghies, same as all the other dinghies in the harbour." And they said, "Okay." So it's from here to Panama. That's leg one. Pretty simple. 1,200 miles. Trade winds again. Then we're trucking them across. We're not going through the canal, so we truck them to the other side. Right. Then on the other side, it's a Le Mans start. So they'll all be up at the marina, boats in the water. They've all got at a set time. It's go. They got to down a tube or something, and then rush down to their boats, jump on their boats, get off the marina, start their electric motors, and away they go. They're on their way to Marquises, which is sort of 4,000 miles later or something.
Yep.
And then when they get that leg from Panama doesn't finish until Fiji. Okay, that's leg 2.
Yep.
When they get to Marquises, they're given a time they can use up. I think it's 7 days in the Marquises and 8 days. Then they go Marquises to Tahiti, French Polynesia, Papeete. Okay. And when they're there, they're given 8 days and they have to go through a gate, right, to get into the harbour. So they've got 8 days in Papeete. When they get to Tonga, after Papeete, they're given 7 days in Tonga. Now, what happens is they've got to go through these gates, and there's compulsory stops. The only compulsory stop is Papeete. All right. They can decide if they want to stop in Marquises or if they want to keep going. They can put the days in the bank. They can put it in the bank. If they want to stop in Tonga, they use up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days or whatever it is. Or if they want to keep going to Fiji, they can put it in the bank. Right. And that means they'll arrive in Fiji earlier because a lot of the families are going to meet up in Fiji.
Gotcha.
But we still allocate the 23 days of stopovers, whether they've used them or not.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, and so that's the leg to Fiji. So Fiji, next leg is a massive one. Fiji all the way to Cape Town. And the plan there is they head across the top of Australia. They get I think it's 7 days in Darwin if they want to stop there. And then they must stop in Cocos Keeling for 6 days. Then it's across to Mauritius, Port Louis. They've got to stop there as well. And then it's a 10-day allocation. They get 10 free days. They can stop anywhere they like, all the way around to Cape Town, because that's the big challenge.
Yep.
And from Cape Town, it's extended Christmas, January the 5th next year. They'll head off up via St. Helena to Recife. They've got a new marina there and the Sailing Association. They'll look after us. And that's leg 4.
Yeah.
And leg 5 is Recife to Antigua. Simple as that. And
Wow.
be here probably March of 26.
So 23,500 miles in a little shoebox made out of plywood.
Absolutely.
At 100 miles a day.
Wow.
Now, Jordan,
Yeah, it
you're
could be
kind
more.
of the math guy here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all complaining about not being able to stretch. They're between them, they're working out exercises to stretch. And the one final big thing I should tell you about that's different than the Golden Globe and the Ocean Globe, they have absolutely free slather on anything to do with satellite communications and all that stuff. So a whole bunch of them putting mini Starlink on board, and that just changes the game.
Oh, yeah.
They're all WhatsApping each other and just using the sat phones and stuff. So there's an at-sea WhatsApp group, and they're having a big party, and it's great.
And so can from a weather perspective, they're able to look at up to like live weather basically, so they're not going to get caught out. Yep.
The only thing that's restricted is they're not allowed to have any routing. No routing programs on board, and no routing advice given from onshore, because the boats sail without wind instruments. We don't allow wind instruments. There's no underwater paddle wheel log. They can still use their GPS and chart plotter, but it's a throwback to the original days. We want them to really sail the boats themselves, and with the wind vane, it's pretty good unless there's a wind changed in direction, and then you go with the wind, brother.
Wow.
Didn't you used to, back in the day, just chuck a line over with a shoe attached to it or something like that, and that
A shoe?
see what floats? No. The amount of knots
you mean
tied
a
in it,
speed,
see what
yeah.
floats and how fast you're going.
But it's actually surprising, because when I went across the Pacific in the bounty boat, we had nothing, and you very quickly start to really work out what the speeds are. Once you start looking over the side, you can
sure,
pretty closely. But they got GPS chart plotters as well, so it's not a drama. They're still they're having real challenges. Actually, they've all got to be able to prove that they can use a sextant, right, and plot celestial fixes and stuff. So. We've extended it to some of them until Panama, but that's the real challenge for some. But the ones that have already mastered it, they're really enjoying it. It's another one of grounding yourself with the environment, the elements, to be able to work out where you are from the stars. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all this.
I was just when you were talking about the on-board WhatsApp the On Water WhatsApp group, I was just wondering,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be cool to actually allow people to see what that conversation is?
Well, it's funny you say that because there is, you'll get this. I'm the race director, right? So they've got the entrance WhatsApp group, and I'm banned. There's no way I'm getting there. When they want to bag me, they bag me. But we had the debrief today, and they've been using that WhatsApp group. And I say, hey guys, we need to know what's going on. Why don't you make another one? And they said, oh, that's cool. All right, there'll be the ex Don McIntyre group, and then there'll be the let's let him in for that very specific reason. Because we're running this a bit different. They're all individual voyages. We've handed over the safety to their individual manager, right? So we don't have to. We won't necessarily be first response if there's ever a drama. Touch wood, but we back the managers very closely and very heavily, of course. So because we didn't want to give up our life for 13 months, 24 hours a day, it's just too much. But anyway, and so they post all their own social media as well. So Jasmine will get on live on Starlink, and do whatever. But now, we're getting a bit more information regularly because we'll be on that WhatsApp group. So you're quite right. I did actually twig my mind. I said, maybe they should have a people's WhatsApp group and let anyone join.
Yeah.
As long as they can't respond, and because otherwise we get flooded out.
And they can see some of the comms. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm on the program there, Nick, and it might be a good idea. Have a public WhatsApp where only the skippers talk on it, but let people watch it. Maybe I'm not sure.
We'll have to work that.
Good idea.
But we'll publicise that.
It may or may not need a filter, Don. Get the team ready.
Oh, yeah. I'm still the mad bastard on Sailing Anarchy, so don't worry.
Yeah, all of us have a bit of a alter ego on that one.
Oh, yeah. Yep, absolutely. I love it.
Dear. Cool. All right, man. Well, It's exciting. We're pretty fired up about this event. Obviously, what the Don does, we're always interested in. So we
love it, Don.
We love it.
I'm feeling famous now. I've been on twice.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's right.
I'm going to have a word to Sci-Fi tomorrow. I'm like, mate, the Don is
absolutely
for you.
Oh, well. Anyway, we'll tell the boys, Sunday coffee's we're going to rattle their cage over there. There'll be a little group of swans coming across. You call them.
No, actually, we're off the dock late tomorrow, so I'm going to pop on down.
Sunday.
Come and see everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
let me know when, because I've got to get out of the bedroom, so I'm on the marina,
Just emphasise for all the listeners.
People might not know what I'm saying. My computer's in the bedroom.
Yeah. I will emphasise for all the listeners that the start is Sunday, the 23rd of February, 11:30 a.m. So that's what we'll be. And we'll dial in. And if there is any sort of form of communication where we can listen in, we will share it for the listeners as well. So if you do find that, Don, we'll be into it, mate.
Yep, cool. Well, it's all on live Facebook and YouTube. It's 3:30 UTC.
Yeah.
So in the afternoon. So what's that? 15:30 UTC, I think it is.
Yeah.
And it'll live, Facebook and YouTube. It'll be a lot of fun. And we're going to go live as we do the sail past into the marina, past all the Caribbean 600 boats, honking horns.
We'll have to get, Bossy, you're going to have to strategically place yourself to get on the footage, mate. Somehow you'll have to come up with something.
Well, maybe I could get out on the wingding. Oh, hang on.
No,
I need to learn to do that first.
You can come with us and join the commentary.
Oh,
do it live.
Yeah, that's got some legs.
That's got some real legs. There you go.
Then I'd feel really famous. Holy shit! Because Ada's not here. Ada usually backs me up, doing all this stuff, and she's not here. She's in Cape Town. And so I'm sort of doing it myself. And, we could have some fun. We could talk about Radix and we could talk about the beer. And you could probably sell T-shirts,
Exactly. The Bar Karate sun shirt for care of Vycobi.
Yeah, actually, I was surprised. A few of the entrants are talking, because we send them all bits about Radix, but a few of them already knew about Radix. It's just all logistics is the issue,
Yeah.
So, anyway, all good.
Cool, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Great to chat to you as always.
Don. I'll show you a message tomorrow. Tomorrow
Sounds
morning.
Cool.
I'll
see you then.
Yeah, we'll
all right.
catch up.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Got to say, boys, always love a chat with the Don. He just brings so much energy and he's got that passion. And, he's a dreamer and he makes his dreams come true. And this is a dream event. It's crazy. I love it.
I mean, having spent a bit of time literally, with Don and Jane. And obviously this is Don's brainchild, like the whole globe race series with everything going on. Mate, he dreams it, but what the difference is, he bloody does it.
He does.
Which is so cool. And
Yeah,
200, what's the plans? 250 plans have been sold.
Yeah.
90 odd boats are in build or being built. It's bloody amazing.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah,
Mate, grab a piece of A4 piece of paper.
Absolutely. It came from us.
Here we fucking go.
Look,
I'll tell you.
I got to say, I couldn't get a word in edgewise, and I still can't.
In sideways.
It's the delay. Yeah,
No, I thought I just whacked it in there, but listen, I got no idea what you talked about, but because but the event is so cool, and I'm excited to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Best of luck to everyone competing. Obviously, there'll be heaps of them downloading because they've got the technology, as Don said, so they'll be able to listen into bar karate all the way around the world, which would be great. So we keep them in mind. Hopefully, we can get on that WhatsApp group. That'll be just unreal if we can get that.
We'll share some of that chat banter. Bloody good.
Yeah, so we'll go live onto the boats.
But I guess I'll pop down as mentioned. I'll pop down there tomorrow, tell them all, and I'm sure Don will mention it also, and they can all have a listen this week. But to all the competitors, hats off, absolutely hats off for what they have done. They built a boat, they've had their own dream, and now they're competing in it. So good on them.
Yeah.
I can't.
And if you can do the commentary, boss, next Sunday. If you there's the Open.
Yeah, that'll be good.
It'll be fun. You'll make it.
Well, I just got going back to the intro. I just got a photo sent through from the final team. I just see a couple of cases of rosé being loaded in the back of the car. So next Sunday afternoon, we'll see.
Okay, that sounds good. Sounds good. All right, let's go on to other news and events that are coming up this week, boys. Falling Week, 24th to the 2nd of March.
All this.
Pensacola in Florida.
Punching this one out on the socials. I'm looking forward to seeing this unfold.
Yes. So obviously we've been involved with Falling Week since the start, and we're supporters of the event. This time it's gone across from Italy to the US, and they're talking about it's a total focus on Falling Week, which is all the different falling classes, all the amazing things that are going on. The focus for this week is going to be regeneration, a global approach to the climate crisis, weaving biodiversity, human dignity, justice and climate into a mosaic of transformation actions that can end the climate crisis in one generation. A noble goal. Going to the US. Noble goal. May be wiped out with an executive order. We'll wait and see. What
was the dates again, Jordan?
What's the
24th and 25th of Pensacola of March?
No. It starts
24th to the 24th of Feb to the 2nd of March.
That's it.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Yeah.
You're trying to wipe it out already. Yeah.
No. I was trying to see if it coincided with the GL52 Southern Series.
Yep.
Which is actually the 20th to 23rd of March. So my mistake. Wrong month.
Month. Yeah. Obviously, Pensacola, great sailing location. US
home of American Magic, of course.
American Magic, yep. Team. So I guess. Some of the American Magic guys will sort of slip down and have a bit of a look, I would suspect, and you may even get a bit of a close-up with some of what's going on with that team. But, it's a good one if you are in the US and you are interested in falling, and you can get down to Pensacola, do it, because great event, lots of ideas and opportunities. So, it's definitely worth a visit. I think we all agree.
It's pretty easy. Just tell them we sent you.
Tell them we sent you, yeah. Yeah.
And you get a 10% discount. Not sure what you're buying, but
well, you do get
Say, where's my 10% discount?
You do get a 10% discount when you use the Radix Nutrition, of course, because
That's what they do.
yeah, that's right. You jump straight on and take on the Radix Nutrition. I do, with all that the mini globe race entrance where Don talked about how they're all loading up on the Radix. But one thing I note with a lot of the athletes now, having done Sail GP, all the protein powders that they do, for pre and post training, Sammy Newton, he's looking buff at the moment, boys, and I reckon he might have taken on the Radix Nutrition thanks to us. So,
Who's that? Sorry,
Sammy Newton of the Australian Sail GP team.
Yeah.
He's one of the grinders.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You ever heard of him?
Oh, yeah, once or twice.
Yeah. He's a good man.
Probably our second most listened to guest
episode,
on Bark
absolutely.
Radio, of course.
Yeah, second most listened to. Absolutely, I saw those numbers.
Yeah. But anyway, so just if you the discount just inspired me. I thought I'll just throw in Radix here, but if you use the code Bark Radio, you'll get a discount on us. So we'll go back to what we were talking about race wise. So the next event, of course, Sail Auckland, 28 Feb to 2nd of March. So for all the Olympic classes and the future champions in the dinghies, that is coming up. So best of luck to everyone.
Always an exciting week.
Yeah, it's a good one. And then, boys, with one we've talked about and we've been hearing whispers about and we've had contact with and we've been told about is the Cape to Rio race. You guys are switched on that is actually happening now, boys.
Good.
So, yeah.
And let me tell you, there's a couple of places a person needs to go in their life.
Here we go.
And one place is Cape Town.
Yes.
The other place is Rio. And what better way to do it? What better way to do it than actually sail from one to the other?
Yeah.
How good? Like the obviously the
Bicey, how much are you getting paid for that advert?
mate,
There's two places in the world you've got to go to.
Spillers, that's a sound grab right there.
Yep.
Take it.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah, absolutely.
So
Skillers,
Take it from me, listeners.
what a bloody good place to start a yacht race,
Yeah.
Cape Town.
Wind on.
And then
The advert just
Rio
keeps
de
going.
Janeiro, I mean, iconic
Yeah.
Rio de Janeiro for that matter.
Yeah, two iconic.
Talk
place to finish.
take a sound grab on that one, please. Anyway, how cool is it? Like they've had a few iterations in the past, Cape to Bahia, Cape to a few other places, but now back to the roots, Cape to Rio.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, back to the history.
3,000
and a beautiful place to boot.
3,300 nautical miles. It starts December 27, 2025. So you've still got plenty of time to enter if you want to be part of it. And as Bossy said, it is two iconic destinations and certainly worth the effort. Having been to both those places multiple times, it's definitely great fun. So, and we're happy to support this one. Obviously, the organisers we know quite well. So, yeah, best of luck. And we're glad to see it is back on the calendar. So, Cape to Rio. Fantastic times.
100%.
100%. All right. Jack Lloyd, listener of the week, boys. It's the time of our friends at Vycobi support this.
Didn't I see something? Now, remind me, Jordan, because I may have been in a bit of a call it a jet lag blur. But did I see our friend Patrick Langley, Vycobi of Vycobi fame, has offered something special for this?
So
this month's.
You did.
Yes, he certainly has. This is the big one.
It is the big one. This is a good one to win. So Vycobi each month give a $200 voucher, Aussie dollar voucher, to the listener of the month. The listener of the month can then buy whatever they want from the Vycobi range. They're amazing technical gear. So, they've got the hiking pants, they've got trap belts, they've got specific sailing clothes, all the smocks, all the wetsuits, whatever you want.
Wait, there's more.
Ordinary gear, like dress clothes and stuff. And, of course, that's where you go to order the Bar Karate UV top. Now, and as BP's alluding to, and you were sure of, Bice, you are able to, you will, as well as the $200 voucher, you will also get your very own Barcarati UV top. The winner that we're about to announce gets the 200 voucher and the UV top. Happy days.
Yes.
So what we're talking about here is it's bumped up to about $300.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. And I just got to say, boys, I ordered a few tops myself because we're an egalitarian society, so we have to pay as well. And put the order in. I bought my beautiful wife a top, and so she's going, "What would I need one of these for?" And then she put it on, and she's just, "Oh, how's the material? Wow. How good is this?" And then she's
Now,
like,
"Can I ask you a question, Jordan? As alluded to in a few episodes ago, 2965 from memory.
I know it.
You actually receive the material, you cut the material and fashion your own pair of undies. What have you made for Jackie in this particular instance is my question.
She's got my pair of undies. You know how women are. They take them. But no, she actually, it was pretty cool. So if you're in doubt, she threw it on and she's just gone, can you order me another one? Straight away. She was into it. So it's very cool. So the new tops are definitely go. That's correct, isn't it, babe? Very correct. Yep. So yeah, we're going to announce the monthly winner, and it was a unanimous decision on this one, boys. Unanimous.
Absolutely.
Yep. That's right.
Unanimous.
Our winner of this month is someone we're very happy for. Someone we know we've met. I guess you know him probably better than anyone, Bicey, but Andrew Stanley. Congratulations, Andy. You are
well
the
done,
monthly
Andrew.
Winner.
Good old Stanners.
The Stan Monster.
Yeah.
Stano.
Stano.
Some say Andrew's been
Some
known
say.
to walk down to the Tumby Bay Seabreeze Hotel wearing his Barcarati hoodie.
Yeah. That's
Right.
it.
But
Some say.
they will be seeing him walking into the Seabreeze Hotel in his Barcarati UV hooded top
Yeah.
in the near future. So
And
well done, Andrew.
he's going to
What
have a
a
whole
effort.
range of Vycobi gear as well. So his email was the one where he says, loving the podcast as usual. Currently in transit to the Windsurfer Nationals at Toronto on Lake Macquarie, so we're happy about that.
No. Can we just pronounce that right?
Toronto.
Toronto. Yeah, Toronto.
So I was trying to speak clearly for the international listeners. So Lake Macquarie from Tumby Bay, South Australia, have stopped at
Long
Lake.
drive.
Yep, stopped at Lake Jindabyne for a few days of altitude training, the highest area in Australia. Tested out the Barcarati hoodie and the Vycobi down vest in 40 to 50 knots at less than 5 degrees Celsius on the top of Mount Kosciuszko. Now, all the Polish listeners will be going, you don't say Kosciuszko that way, but that's how we say it in Australia. Can say they perform well with the sub-zero wind chill factor. See attached the short video below. Good work. So there was a little bit of ass kissing there, which was lovely. There was the long-time listener element.
Well, the other bit, and as we discussed, because this goes to committee, Andrew has quite often come up when I do the annual pilgrimage to Port Lincoln. The Adelaide to Lincoln
often.
race, which unfortunately
Annual but one.
I'm missing out on this year. But always says hello, goes to the effort, and big fan of the show. So well done.
Yeah. But yeah, this was, for all the listeners, get them in because you're going to get this fantastic outfit. And congratulations, Andrew Stanley. Like the video, the email, the time with the sponsors, you don't have to do that. Like, just send us information, anything you find interesting, we find interesting. Tell us what you're up to. cheers@barcarati.com and Vycobi, our friends at Vycobi will hook you up. So yeah, congratulations. I'll remember at some stage to send Andrew an email to make sure he gets that gear. I'm not often sometimes
May or may not receive an
I
email.
sometimes forget.
No,
And
you'll
about a
definitely
week
get
or two later, I go, oh, yeah. Anyway, I'm busy. All right.
It's hot time with Bice.
Oh, he's back. He's
Harrison. Well, yeah. Sorry, boys, missed the show last week. Had a bit on with the big gear.
Yeah.
On the mighty Sea Eagle.
Yeah, that was a huge boat.
Jeez, I got to tell you.
Mm.
What a beautiful, beautiful boat.
That was the
The
photo.
masts are a bit, yeah.
Yeah, you need new
They
mast,
could
does it?
probably do with a bit of an upgrade. Anyone from Royal Houseman out there, feel free to put some Southern rigs in your boats. Anyway, yeah, what a sensational boat. What a absolutely, I've got to say, one of the better regattas I've ever taken part in.
Oh, cool.
One, given it the time of year in New Zealand, that the weather is spectacular. And where we actually sailed, not just in the Hauraki Gulf, but out the back of Waiheke. So for those that have been to NZ or are Kiwis, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. The weather was beautiful. Fantastic super yacht action going around islands and rocks and all those sorts of things. It was bloody awesome. Well-run event. And, you know, the city of, they don't call it the city of sails for no reason.
Yeah.
But one thing to add there, so this particular boat, the Sea Eagle, quite a large vessel. I think we were sailing at over 1,000 tons.
Wow.
On the boat.
Oh, so
and we
so
have
you
to
so
sail.
you're taking a fair bit. So you're taking a fair bit off.
We have to sail with the pilot on board, just due to the areas that we're in.
Size of the boat. Yeah, of course.
And of course, these pilots are just bloody. They're just used to jumping on these shitty container ships, right?
Correct.
Bringing them into port, all those sorts of things. But whoever gets the gig to come on the Sea Eagle for the day, and on one of our training days, we go to drop the sails, and he's like, "Why don't you just sail up the channel all the way up to the bridge?" We literally sailed this bloody 280-foot yacht all the way up the channel into Auckland towards the bridge with everything else going on. We got the twilight, the Wednesday night or Friday night twilight race, coming the other way against us, but spectacular.
Fantastic.
Absolutely spectacular. So possibly one of my favourite events going on. So well done to all the organisers. Shout out to Sue Ellen, who she told me, I don't know if this is public or not. Oh, shit, maybe I shouldn't say.
Yeah.
But put it this way, she's coming up with a little project with Harold Bennett. Which, all those yachties out there would know exactly what I'm talking about. That's bloody cool. Hot time. Right. Second of all.
Yes.
Bit of news.
It's Baishi's diary so far.
Bit of news.
Yep.
There was a light allusion toward a new vessel coming to Adelaide.
Oh, yes. Yes, we did allude to that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And well, at the time of allusion, that particular vessel no longer happened.
I know.
A few weeks later, there was something going on. There was another vessel.
There was some rumblings.
Could have been in play.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't happen. Someone snaffled her out. Then it was my birthday. So this is a bit of a chronology. It was my birthday. I sent one purchaser to go and get me a particular beer.
Yep.
He couldn't even buy me the right beer.
Oh.
He couldn't buy a thing, this guy.
He's
right?
hopeless.
Then
he probably broke down.
As it turns out, everything happens for a reason, right? And what has happened now is possibly one of the best fast 40s is coming to Adelaide. It started life as Pace. It's a Kerr 40 plus.
Yeah.
Won the 2017 season. It's going to go back to its original livery as Pace. Currently called Secret Weapon out of WA. But super exciting to get that boat.
What about Secret
there
Pace?
was that. Well, no, there was at a time maybe we were going to call it Wayne.
God.
But I don't think Jason Kerr would have appreciated that one. But
Put two and
super
two together,
exciting.
listeners. Put two and two together.
New boat coming to Adelaide. Going to be super cool. So that's just the second part of my diary.
Yeah. I'm very happy for that, for the people involved in that. That'd be great.
Yep.
And
Fantastic.
Wayne,
best
I
of
like
luck.
that. You could have called it Anne. You could have called it Anne too.
Depends how it performs, BP.
Why did you call the boat Anne?
I like that one.
Yeah.
But we may be the only three people. I think there's a bunch of Aussies laughing, but I suspect half the world will go, I don't understand Wayne or Anne.
What I really loved about that. What I loved about that was our global sigh.
It's so just emphasising it's a Kerr 40 plus, a Kerr. But yeah, you're not going to call it Wayne or Anne. Okay, got it. All right, cool.
There we go.
Yep.
So, speaking of diaries, let's go to your diary, Jordan Spencer. Last weekend,
Oh, yep.
Sale GP.
Yeah, yep. Finished that
Time
off.
of recording, we
Yep.
didn't have a winner.
Yeah.
But was it? Well, yeah. Over to you. Hell of a weekend.
Hell of a weekend. Good conditions. The boats.
Great state.
Yep, great. New South Wales. It's different in all the other venues. You know, when you're at Sale GP, all the coaches box and what they call the adrenaline lounge, all the VIP stuff is right on the course, but not in Sydney. So they've got to load everyone onto super yachts to do that. But the fact that the course goes around Shark Island, you know, and all the punters are right in the middle of it, and it's probably one of the best places to be and to go and to watch the racing, and it was super cool. Obviously, there was a lot of south in the breeze on the Sunday, so we talked about Saturday. There was a lot of south in the breeze on the Sunday, which made the southern side of the island more approachable, which is pretty rare. I think most people would normally go to the north, but you know, the quality teams got to the top there at the end, and it was really quite interesting when we got to that final, because you had Canada, the UK, and Australia. So it was the colonial battle, the battle of the colonies.
Battle of the convicts.
Commonwealth Games.
The Commonwealth Games, and the fact that then, you know, like on the boat I was on, we weren't line of sight all the time, so I'd have to jump in on commentary occasionally, and like as we're doing the final, I'd say as they're coming to the start, we've got Dylan Scott there, you know, Olympic gold medalist, just next to Tom Slingsby, Olympic gold medalist, and Dylan's just taken over the role from the new skipper Giles Scott of Dylan Fletcher, not Dylan Scott, from Giles Scott, who is a double Olympic gold medalist. You know, like it's pretty heavy hitters. You know, like it's as good as it gets in the intensity. But yeah, I think there was a little bit of upset about the rule interaction and the timing of the call. But I got to say,
I think before you go on to the final, Jay, when we were together Saturday night, we were talking about Sunday and what was going to happen, and the breeze potentially doing what it did. The island created a pretty cool setup for the racing, as you just mentioned, and the tactics were really cool, and particularly the first race in the morning, where it paid both sides, and it was interesting because then you could see it definitely shift through more to the south, and then the southern side of the island paid for the rest of the day. But as with the final, just back onto that, you could see that, and you could talk about the infringement in a second, but what that infringement actually did to Slingsby was make him go the other way because he just couldn't follow it. Once you're following and I noticed it even in the fleet racing, once you were it was a very one-way track. Once you were following, you had to try and do something completely different. Yeah, that's right. It was difficult because the wind was sort of quite up and down in pressure and direction, so it was moving around a lot. But yeah, it was just good. You know, it was good racing. I think with that 3-boat final, it's sort of, I don't think people have got it worked out. You know, I don't know what you guys think, but to me, the strategy in the final is to convince the other 2 boats to take each other on and try and sneak away. Stay away. It works every time, doesn't it? Like the boat that
90% of the time, the boat that gets left alone, or puts himself in a position where they're left alone, seems to win. I don't know if you guys agree with that.
Do you think a little sort of technique would be to sort of create a bit of onboard banter?
Yes, there we go. The banter button.
In this case, maybe Dylan's just got onto Giles and said, "Hey, Giles, Slinger's just said something really nasty about you." Right? And then Giles gets a bit fumey and goes over and has a little bit of an attack of Slingers. Next thing you know, Dylan just cruises past and with a big smile on his face.
I don't doubt Dylan. He's a great guy, Dylan.
Maybe you should take this to Russell when you see him next, Jordan.
Well, it's going to be a while because I can't fit any more in this year. I've just got too much.
The formula, like in my head there, I'm like, oh, is it better having two? Just one-on-one?
Yeah, I kind of think it would be, but yeah.
Or is it just that extra element that that third guy or third team, rather, can actually sneak on through?
Yeah. I think the logic is that there's always two boats fighting each other and the third person's always got a passing lane. I think that's the logic of it, So if you did drop back down to two, then, once you win the match at the start, there's no passing lane because you're just covering it. So them having three boats is about that, I think, to try and create passing lanes and opportunities to be left alone sort of thing. So, yeah. But it was good. Yeah. It's a great event. The new foils are definitely way better in terms of how much more flighty the boats are. The boats are definitely twitchier, and so mistakes easier to happen. There's less warning with the foils. But yeah, it's just on, it's good sailing. Everyone's really right there. It's good. It's close. And then
Good comment. What you just said then, Jay, about less warning. I think you brought it up when we were fine dining Saturday night, that the old foils sort of gave them a bit of leeway, and then they cavitated and popped.
Yeah, that's it.
But what you were saying is with these foils, there's no warning. It's just basically sailing along, and next thing you know, bang, your nose down.
Yeah, pretty much. That's so yeah, and like you really said, that first turning mark, if there's any pressure, you can see them. It was a classic in Sydney. They come around the top mark. Was it the top mark? No, they'd all lined up, so it was at the top mark, so not the first mark, but the first time it was around the top mark. All the boats turned around one after the other, coming down. I think they turned to the left, and one boat came around smooth, bear away. The next boat went slightly bow down. The next boat went more bow down. As they were hooking dirty air, they were less stable coming around that mark, and you could see it affect the flight control, because they went around one after the other. It was a neat rounding, and they went further and further down and more wild in their turn down, so it's really interesting to watch. So, they'll have mastery, I suspect, soon, but then we've got the new light wind foils hit in New York, and I think they're working on a rudder, boys. I think they're going to upgrade the rudder as well. So, yeah, interesting times.
Makes sense. So I just got one more question while we turn this into the Sail GP show. The US. Now, have we seen any more media from any other team spruiking their sponsors? So there's a theory going around town that there was a bit of a rush out on the toe because they had to get somewhere for a new Tommy Hilfiger shoot, and things got a bit blasé, hence tipping her in the piss, as per Spirit of Australia in the Opera House.
Opera House,
Right on the Opera House.
Won't name the skipper of that boat, but a good friend.
Is there an element of those particular guys getting pushed a bit too hard? Is
with
there
all the
a
marketing.
bit of marketing fuckwittery going on?
Yeah.
What's the let's call it the doc gossip?
No, nothing I can add there at all. I will
well, if
say,
you want a job, I guess.
I will say the US blokes, just some of the best guys to deal with. They've been awesome, right, on land. They're the most accommodating. They're probably one of the most accommodating teams when it comes to all the guests and stuff like that. And so they've been really good. And maybe that's just worn them out. They've been too nice. That could be it. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say what I heard. I think I can say it.
Just say it. No one listens. Happy birthday, Russell, by the way. I'm still waiting for a invite for a golf game down at your house. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Why are you trying to burn me, aren't you? Yeah. I think that somebody accidentally hit the inversion button on the wing and it flipped the boat, is what I believe happened.
Oh.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Not the red one.
Not the red one. That's it.
American boat, Southern Hemisphere.
Coriolis effect. That's
the
it.
Coriolis effect.
Down the toilet the wrong way.
Yeah. They read. Yeah, no, they're exactly that. Yeah, different. That's exactly what's happened. Wrong side, Southern Hemisphere.
Well, it's done and dusted now. Move on.
Moving on.
All right, we've crapped on long enough.
Yeah, let's move on.
You Sailing World's going to Portugal, Vila Moura. Beautiful venue.
Yes.
Beautiful country. Beautiful
Love
people.
Portugal. Love that.
Probably couldn't be better. BP, you'll probably be there. You'll be waving the flag.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. We'll be giving out a few stubby holders. Who knows?
Stubby holders, maybe some
To
stickers.
the Youth Worlds. Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Probably not that appropriate.
12 to 20 December in Portugal, in Vila Moura, as Bossy said. And you boys both know she's a glamour spot. So, yeah, it's Youth Worlds. I guess the Australian youth sailors will be a little bit dark at the moment because they won't get to go. But
No comment.
but
I'm calling.
Great spot.
I'm calling. There's going to be a bit of a coup on that.
Yeah, I think
there's going to be a few parents get together and say, you know what, we're going to go. We're going to take it on. We don't care. So
cool.
Not sure in the world how that would work, but whatever. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought about that exact thing as well. Honestly, put some thought into that too, but I don't know how it would work. But yeah, well selected. I think great place for the youngsters to go. And if you get a chance to go, make an effort because she's a glamour spot. You'll have a ball. What else, Bob? Your thing?
No, that's about it. I'm going to talk a bit more about the Caribbean 600. Give a bit of a rundown in next week's episode.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we'll be only a few days out from the start. And probably, put the odds on. I mean, it's a fair chance final will be on top of the podium, but we'll have another look at that a bit when we get a bit more weather. But the only thing I've got to say, I hope it dies out a bit because holy shit, the trades are cranking at the minute.
Yeah, and you've got to make the owner happy.
Absolutely cranking. So.
All right, so we'll do that. So the Caribbean 600 kicks off. It's the 16th edition. There's like 500 sailors, 38 different countries entered. Racing is kicks off with the Nelson's Cup Series 18 to 21 Feb, which you're doing on the Galatea. And then we roll into the Caribbean 600, which is the following weekend, I think. So few maxis. There's a bunch of big boats. I think there are 11 boats.
Yeah, a bunch of big boats. I mean, we got the Leopard 3. I guess.
Yeah.
Is here. We got the Balthazar.
Got
the,
Lucky.
72. We got the Lucky, of course, the Bullet.
The Pyewacket's there, I think, as well.
Pyewacket, Volvo 70, ex-Telefonica.
Yep.
And then a bunch of 52s, including the Ran.
Yeah.
Final, Summer Storm. Dagwet, the new Karkeek 54. Looking forward to seeing how that performs, actually. Looks spectacular on the water.
Cool. Very cool.
It's going to be, it's a great bunch of boats. Enowa, of course.
Good watching, big good watching.
So.
The start coverage is not often great, unfortunately, but we're looking forward to it. So enjoy it. Have a good week with the Nelson Cup with the Galatea boys. I know they all listen, so g'day lads and lasses. We are absolutely have the best possible time. Should be good. I do have one other thing that I wanted to just bring to the four boys just before we drop off. Remember we talked about
not on the run sheet. I'm not on the run sheet.
The BK1 boys. So a little discussion popped up this week.
Oh.
Remember we talked about the BK1 making a boat for normal-sized human beings? And we've gone through the whole discussion on my ideas of how to build it and how to make it super cheap for everyone and blah, blah, blah. There's a new large dinghy that's been just launched in the UK, single-handed dinghy. And it's a Phil Morrison design. So I thought, with Phil Morrison behind it.
Nice, Morrow.
The Morrow Monster. I thought it's worth having a look at because he's designed some pretty flash boats. So I was just having a look. Nothing more than just looks like if we don't hurry up and get the BK1 in, other people are going to do it for us. So the Hartley boats have launched their thing called a Zenith. And if the Zenith, the guys in Hartley feel like sending a free one to Barkarati team, would take it. But it's designed for 70 kilo to 110 kilo sailors. Got 11 square metre sail. And it actually has a ballasted centerboard, 40 kilos. Like the VX ones have done that.
Like VX.
Yeah. So the whole thing still weighs, because the hull's very light. It's only 55 kilos. So it's still, with the centerboard, it's still well under 100. So, but I don't know. She could be good. I just saw that and I thought we need to get our ass in a gear because other people have been listening to Barkarati and done something about it rather than being just talkers like we are, boys.
Taking the Barkarati philosophy and talking about it and not doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, based on history, Jordan Spencer, there's a fair chance we're going to do absolutely fuck all. And we'll leave it up to the professionals, shall we?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
we're visionaries, Bicey. We're visionaries.
Yeah. That's it.
Consulting. BK Consulting.
The idea. We come up with the idea, you do the work.
You do the work, we take a fee.
I will say,
man.
I will say, just on that.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I noticed Mark Lombard's new 45-foot cruising design. The first one's under build. I'm trying to remember what it's called. The Lift 45. That was my idea about a cruising boat with the scow and taking the Fast 40 or the Class 40 shapes and making that into something. And that was another idea from Barkarati, and that is under build as well. So,
also under build is the Score 11.6, of course, which is the traditional scow. So, yeah.
It's Barkarati. We got to stop talking about it on the show, and we need to start selling it.
I was explaining to the guys today, we're just too bloody lazy to do anything.
Well,
so we'll just take the accolades as they fall.
Yeah, well, we do know the validity. We have had a conversation about the power of the reverse curse, and we might start selling guest spots, but guest pay to come on the show because they know they're going to win. Like if you're going to spend a huge amount of money on a new set of gear or sales, why would you do that? Just pay a few bucks and come Barkarati. That's it. I love it. Oh, righto. All right, lads. So happy to be able to get all three of us together and chat and then have a chat to the Don as well.
That was a bit of a mission, wasn't it? But we got there. Well done, gents.
Well done.
Yeah. Remember, yep. Thank you very much for listening. Cheers at barkarati.com if you want to send us any emails, which we'd love. You go to Radix Nutrition and use Barkarati as your discount code. Have a great time. Go in peace. Good luck to everyone sailing this week, including you, Mr. Bice. And, love your work.
My way.
Cheers.